Craig, three crucial games coming up in the next week or so. How much are you looking forward to the run?
Well, obviously every game is crucial, as we keep being reminded, and they are. There's no denying they're very important games. Eagerly looking forward to them. You know, we've had one blip in the last few games, and that was last week. And you know, for 55 minutes before the first goal, we've got the better chances. So, you know, I've looked at the tape with the team, and there's no need for us to be despondent about the way we're capable of playing. So we look forward to the 2 games with Hibs, and in between we go to Perth. So important.
Do you feel the players' pride has been dented by last week's defeat?
A bit, yes. It was disappointing last week. There's no doubting that. You know, in the last calendar year, I'm told, with the best away record that Aberdeen's had for over 20 years, we spoiled it in this calendar year at the start with that away performance, and we must not repeat that. That's a certainty. And I don't think there's any likelihood of us repeating losing goals as softly as we did. Having said that, there were very well executed goals by Inverness, and they're a high scoring team in the SPL, and you could see why.
There's no better way to put things right than to beat Hibs.
Correct.
It would be great to do that and get 3 points.
Absolutely, yeah. No, we're well aware of the importance of these matches, and we'll be up for it. Luckily, our injured players are getting better. We've got 4 players out for a bit longer, 2 completely out for the season, Andy Considine and Chris Clark. But the other 2, Gary Naismith is showing signs of recovery, and Ryan Jack's showing signs. They're running now, ready to start working with the ball next week. So, you know, we've 4 top players injured at the moment, and that'll hopefully be reduced to 2 very soon. And given those circumstances, we should have a really good, healthy squad from which to get a team.
How tough do you think Hibs will be? Tough not to crack?
Yeah, always. Yeah, we've always had very, very close games with Hibs, home or away. The fact that we've won down there this season won't have any bearing on this game. This is totally different, and the Hibs are slightly different in terms of personnel. So are we. So it should be good.
Yeah, a similar sort of situation with Motherwell here at home, and then Motherwell in the cup, and again now Hibs at home, and then Hibs in the cup. Is it something you would rather not have, that proximity of successive games?
Well, I think it's a very good observation, that and a word that I'll need to look up, proximity. No, seriously, it is. The proximity of games like that, it's not ideal, because, you know, something could carry over. But we've not had that type of incident. It's just similar to games where you've a 2-leg competition, like last night. Swansea have just played Chelsea last couple of weeks, and then they're playing them again. Bradford the same. You know, so it's almost, although it's not a case of 2 games counting together, they're 2 individual games. They're separate. One's a league game, one's a cup. And you could add to that, it could be our 3rd one if we draw. So we could be getting quite familiar with Hibs. Hopefully it won't be a draw, but it wouldn't be the end of the world if we had to replay here at Pittodrie.
Is it vital now to the second half of the season, if you like, Bradley, that you are getting these injured players back, you are getting some of the experienced heads, not just on the bench, but available for first choice? Yeah,
I think it's vital if we want to have an impact on the SPL. From now to the end of the season, we've got to start winning games, and that's very important. It's a pleasant change from the last 2 or 3 seasons when Aberdeen have been in the bottom end. We're in the top end, and our objective, of course, is to stay there and improve our position in the top. So that's a straightforward, simple objective.
Hibs, it seems to be the secret. If you can stop Lee Griffiths from scoring, then they're a less threatening outfit than perhaps they've been in some of the games this season. Dundee did a very good job on them for the bulk of the game. Mm-hmm. Do you think the team we'll be facing this weekend is different than the one that you faced recently here?
No, I think Hibs will be quite similar. Obviously, he scored a wonderful goal, Witherspoon, here earlier in the season, and he's capable of doing that. We've got to be aware of others, but Griffiths, there's no question, Griffiths is the main man in terms of goal threat. So we have to contend with him, and hopefully we'll do that. He's played well enough against us, and unfortunately scored the winner in the semi-final, which obviously was created from a dubious decision, but he got the ball in the back of the net, which is what he's there for, and you can't leave him for a minute with a sight of goal. So we know that, and at least we're aware of the danger. So when you're aware of it, that's when you're taken by surprise with the danger that you could be faulted. But we're aware, and if we don't handle it, we've got to fault ourselves.
I know you're working behind the scenes, Duncan Fraser particularly, to get Reynolds here on a more permanent basis. But is there any chance that there might be some movement for defensive cover before the end of the window particularly?
Well, the Reynolds situation is simply that I was asked a question, would you like Reynolds? And I said yes. And when I'm not saying it's imminent. It was just that when I was asked the question, I said we would love Reynolds. And I said Duncan's on the case as he is, diligently in all contractual issues. But it didn't mean to say he's phoning Sheffield Wednesday every day of the week, or even this week or last week. It just means that we would like, and obviously there's an optimum time when you're looking to sign a player or to change a player's contract, to contact the opposition. Or not the opposition, they're not opponents, they're the owner of the player. And Sheffield Wednesday is their player, so the indications are, and this again, just in informal conversation, that Mark wouldn't mind coming here, but it's not been in any way finalised, I can assure you. So I think that's false hope. Again, we might be giving the fans if we say Reynolds is near to signing. In due course, there's quite a bit of time before the end of the season. In due course, we'll try to see what's happening there. And when I said Duncan's on the case, I think it was taken that he was. Tomorrow we're going to get him signed. Maybe I didn't mean to mislead the local journalists, but that's what I said.
Craig, have you had a conversation with Duncan Fraser about your own position? Then we don't have to ask you every week.
No.
Any movement there, or are you not concerned by it?
I'm not concerned at all. Honestly, I would rather not get involved in it because it's totally irrelevant. The main concern here is getting players organised, and I was asked about the possibility of someone else coming in, and certainly for next season we're working on possible recruitment. So that's more important at the moment, I think, than anyone else, myself or anyone else. So I'd rather not go down that route. And although there's nothing,
it would seem peculiar, would it not? I suppose what you're saying there is to be asked about future plans if you're not here.
Well,
so
maybe
that's a good sign. Isn't
maybe.
it?
Well, I don't know. Maybe, but I don't. There are other managers in the league, and I don't know why you focus on me, because are you asking Kenny Shields, or are you asking John McGlynn, or you ask? Well, we know about Peter Houston. Are you asking these guys? Are you asking Terry Butcher? He's declined a move just now, but it doesn't mean to say necessarily. I don't know his contractual situation, but the fact that mine has come into the public domain is not my doing, and I would rather things like that were private.
But I suppose it's out there, isn't it? And is there always a concern that it does create an uncertainty now?
I don't think
the media for that, but it does create that.
Well, there's no uncertainty here. I'm not. If I were a guy that was having to pay my mortgage next season and worried about it, I might have been saying something. But I'm not in that situation, fortunately. But there's no one that doesn't affect the players in any way. It doesn't affect anyone. It just gives another column for you guys, which, if I could get something else to talk about, I'd prefer it, genuinely.
Do you think the league is so tight this season that a single game, a single defeat, single win can make that difference? That's why there's all this talk about.
What difference?
Well, there's talk about contracts and things. A single win would make all the difference.
No, surely. No, I wouldn't think that for 1 minute. A win or a defeat, I certainly wouldn't think that would make any difference whatsoever.
I just meant you've got 2 games coming up. That's potentially 6 points. That's back up, potentially second. It must be quite good to have games quite close together. So in the space of a week, you can be back up there.
Yeah. Well, we want to. That's the main concern. To be right in contention to the end of the season. both in the Cup and in the league. That's the objective, and we hope that we'll achieve that objective. And I'm optimistic about it, quite honestly, very optimistic. And I don't see one game as a defining game. You know, there are quite a number of games to play. Obviously, a cup game is a defining game. You're in or out the cup. But, you know, I'd rather be us than Motherwell in terms of the cup. I'd rather be us than quite a number of teams. So we're there. And we'll be competing, don't worry about that. That's a certainty.
Are you surprised, Craig, by how closely bunched together so many teams are? I mean, and what does that say? Does it say it's a high standard of football?
Well, it says it's a competitive standard. You know, when I look at the league and I think of the points that, you know, early in the season in particular, when we were at full strength, we had 3 draws out there, and in each occasion we were totally dominant. Now, had we managed to get the one that hit the bar against Hearts in the net, and the chances we missed against Ross County and St Mirren out there, we would have been 6 points better off. But every team will be sitting looking at previous games. So, you know, we have had a chance to open up a gap. We didn't manage to do that, so we fault ourselves there. So we'll hope that we might fluke a result and get 3 points sometime. I think we've had one fortunate result this season, and that was against Hibs, where a draw would probably have been a fairer. But we've had some unfortunate ones, really unfortunate results. And if the luck evens out throughout the season and the injury situation evens out, I mean, we've been bedevilled by injuries. I think we'll be in a very good position at the end of the season.
Are you confident that Scott Vernon's got a few goals in reserve for the season?
Yeah, I'm sure he has. Yeah, I mean, his best pal is hitting the highlights just now, Rory McArdle. So if Scott can do the same between now and the end of the season, they'll both be very happy guys.
Okay,
thanks.
Thank you very much.